So you know what I like about kind of the layout of these instances down here? They kind of give an indication of where it's leading based on, like, the surrounding here. Like, here you can see, okay, that's, you know, Hillsbred Foothills because it's, like, Lordaeron stuff. Okay, gotcha. Like, over here, it's like, okay, that's leading to Mount Hyjal with all the trees and such. Over here, we can kind of, like, okay, that's kind of, like, where, like, stuff having to do with the Cataclysm, like, the end of all that stuff is happening. Over here, that looks like Stratholme. More Lordaeron flags. But then over here, so over here, this is the going back in time to the Well of Eternity, very Night Elf looking area. And then over here, kind of swampy like. And of course the giveaway, one of those things of the Dark Portal. The Black Morass. So, this is another alternate plan that the Infinite Dragons decide to go ahead and take advantage of. So, stop. Do not go any further, mortal. You are ill-prepared to face the force of the Infinite Dragonflight. Come, let me help you. Beyond this time-way, the Guardian, Medivh, feverishly works to open the Dark Portal. Scattered across the morass, rifts will materialize. Infinite will pour out of the rifts and attempt to destroy Medivh's shields and ultimately Medivh. Kill the Rift Lords and leaders. Do this until Medivh succeeds. A chronobeacon calls for the Guardian Time to assist you inside Black Morass. We must hurry. I only get one. Give me another beacon. Not gonna be. I'm pretty sure I won't need that. But this is one of those where it's like I gotta, you know. There's just this one area here. So this is. I'm not too fond of this dungeon because I don't like the whole we're gonna run back and forth between different rifts in order to defend. Medivh. Now you're probably going, wait a minute, what's the point of what's going on here? Well, the Infinite Dragonflight decided, okay, how about this? Why don't we just prevent the Dark Portal from opening? Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, isn't that a good thing? No. Because, and there's Medivh over there. The Dark Portal opening, believe it or not, actually helped save Azeroth, because if it wasn't for the Horde making their way here and joining forces, the Burning Legion would have come here anyway and would have won. So believe it or not, opening the Dark Portal and bringing the Horde here actually in the future later on helped save Azeroth. Sargeras had no idea that that's what was the result of what he was doing here. But that's basically the case of what's happening here. And that's another thing about this dungeon.
The time has come! Gul'dan, order your warlocks to double their efforts! Moments from now, the gateway will open, and your horde will be released upon this ripe, unsuspecting world.
So yeah, this is another thing about this dungeon, is like we have to look for where these rifts are going to be and then go over and take out anything that comes through. And we have to do this multiple times until the bosses eventually spawn. You'll see that, right? 2 of 18. So yes, also Medivh's shield. So yeah, we have to look around and see where the rifts are going to be and then go take them on before they eventually go over and actually... Because the longer that they hold that rift open, more ads will pop out and will try to overwhelm Medivh. And you can see why I'm not too fond of this dungeon. It's one of those hold the line type of dungeons, and I'm not too fond of those. Where it's like, okay, I have to actually run around and, you know, prevent something from dying. Because if something dies, well then guess what? You lose. This was actually something I was having to deal with in the Mage Tower Challenge as a tank, because you have to make sure that Velen doesn't die. If he dies, then you lose the challenge. Which can be annoying, especially when you are doing things well, and then, whoops! Something hit Velen pretty hard and he died. So yeah, if we were to not be able to actually take these things down... Now, fortunately, the bosses spawn every 6 portals. So, once 6 go down, then we get our first boss of the dungeon.
Why do you aid the mages? Just think of how many lives could be saved if the portal is never opened. If the resulting wars could be erased.
So yeah, he's trying to now, like, persuade us, like, look, this is a good thing that we're doing here. The infinite dragonflight tempted many Dragonoid with promises of power, but most found only servitude and despair. One of the few exceptions is the Chronoloord Dea, who gained influence within the flight through his raw power and cunning. So yeah, he'll keep the portal open so that more ads will spawn and go after Medivh.
Cease this foolish quest, then you will die.
So we, of course, have to take him on and kill him in order to prevent more ads from spawning from the rift. I just want to make sure that one didn't go over and actually do something to, actually hurt Medivh. So yeah, once you take that down, then it's like, alright, countdown starts again, new portal will be opening soon. So then we have to look around for those things through all these trees and be like, oh, wait, the portal's over here, and then the group has to head over here. Like I said, this can be... So this used to be part of time walking, this dungeon here. I'm glad it's not anymore, because again, this was one of those you couldn't get through quickly. You had to go through this. Like, basically, in terms of like, alright, we have to take that down, then we have to wait. Then we take that one down, then we have to look for the next portal, which is right over here, and then we have to go over here and wait. You can see how this can get rather boring and repetitive. So yeah, when they changed the rotation for Time Walking Burning Crusade and took this one out, I was like, oh, thank goodness. We don't have to do this dungeon anymore. So in case you're wondering, what is the current rotation for Time Walking Burning Crusade? It's the Mana Tombs, the Scattered Halls... I'm sorry, the Shattered Halls, Magister's Terrace, the Botanica, Blood Furnace, and Underbog. And we will be doing the Magister's Terrace next, after this one. I'm actually a little hesitant, or rather cautious, about doing that one. Because there's something I need to talk about when we get there. And I'm hesitant to talk about it, because it's controversial.
Why persist? Surely you can see the futility of it all. It's not too late. You may still leave my lives.
So yeah, this timekeeper will actually help me deal with the ads and such.
Sands of time.
What? Why was he evaded?
I'm out of range.
So be it.
Although relatively young, Temperus was instrumental in identifying many of the Infinite Dragonflight's prime targets. As a reward, he was given the responsibility of destroying anyone who might attempt to interfere with the Dragonflight's plans. By the way, I believe there's at least 1 or 2 books that have to do with the Dark Portal and Medivh, as well as Khadgar. Like, there's a number of there's at least 2 or 3 books that go into depth when it comes to Medivh's story. So if you want to know more about some of the backstory with Medivh, you can check out some of those other books. I think one of them is called The Last Guardian. I think there's another called The Dark Portal, or Opening the Dark Portal. And then there's Warcraft Chronicles Volume 1. Volume 1 goes quite a bit into the backstory of Medivh as well as his mother. And why Medivh ended up being in this position where he would be the one opening the portal to let them through. By the way, you'll notice the timer was 2 minutes, then it goes down. Because the idea was you had to quickly take down the rifts, otherwise more rifts would open over a period of time, and then, well, that would be that. Because at that point, you're just having too many rifts open, and you lose. Time for the last boss. Aeonis. Powerful and wild, Aeonis was tasked by the Master of the Infinite Dragonflight to personally oversee the disruption of key moments in the True Time Way.
The time has come to shatter this clockwork universe forever. Let us no longer be slaves of the hourglass. Let us cease. Those who do not embrace this greater path shall become victims of its passing.
I warn you, those who do not embrace this greater path shall become victims of its passing. I didn't know how much damage he was going to do to Medivh, so...
I am grateful for your aid, champions. Now, Gul'dan's horde will sweep across this world like a locust swarm. And all my designs, all my carefully laid plans will at last fall into place.
And then the horde comes through the Dark Portal.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles.
Orcs of the Horde, this portal is the gateway to your new destiny. Azeroth lies before you, ripe for the taking. Gul'dan speaks the truth. We should return at once to tell our brothers of the news. Retreat back to the portal.
I have many wares. Farewell, friend of the Grummles. I have many lucky doos you like.
And that is the dungeon. You can see why I'm not too fond of it. Even though the idea and the story behind it is kind of cool, gameplay-wise, I'm like, ugh. And I imagine back in the day when this was current and heroics in BC were tough, that trying to get these rifts down in a couple of minutes before the others spawned was not very easy or pleasant, because then were kind of overwhelmed by by the amount of rifts that were up. That's just my guess.
I need to get closer.
You have done well. The timeways are safe once more. Alright. So we are almost done with the Burning Crusade. There is only one dungeon left. Magister's Terrace. And normally I would be looking forward to this dungeon, but unfortunately due to real-life events over the past few years, there is something that happened in this dungeon, something that got changed that I was not happy about. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk about it to explain. And forgive me if I express my opinion on the matter and if it bothers some people, but I will try to be fair and also be clear about what I'm specifically bothered about when it comes to this. Stay tuned.